In the beginning, our main character, God, got creative. He created all of creation and, since he was lonely and wanted to share his creation, included some companions in his effort. Let's call them Adam and Eve. He put his companions into a wondrous garden and let them have free rein. His only warning to them was to not eat the fruit of one specific tree, because he knew it would change their lives forever. God, feeling very accomplished by his great feats, went away for a little while and left his garden to be tended to by his companions. Upon coming back, God realized all too soon that the two had eaten of the tree he had warned them about. God first asked Adam what he had done. Adam immediately pointed his finger at Eve, implied that she tempted him, and then at God for putting Eve there to tempt him. God then asked Eve what she had done. Eve, seeing what Adam had just done, immediately pointed her finger at the serpent for deceiving her and, by doing so, implied that God had put the serpent there to deceive her into making her choice. God immediately realized the game that was playing out before him. His companions were not only making their own choices, but they were using their choices to try to outrun any accountability for their choices, and they were blaming him and others for what they had chosen to do. He knew that these two would eventually eat from the other tree, the tree of life, and therefore live forever in his garden. As things were playing out, they would never learn to take any responsibility for the choices they were making. He also knew what these choices would eventually do to his beautiful garden, day in and day out. They would make a mess of things fairly quickly and with no end in sight. God would have none of this, so God blew his whistle and said, "Everyone, out of my pool." And he summarily placed these two irresponsible fools outside of his garden to experience their lives as the victims they chose to be, and in hopes that their experiences would help them learn sooner or later to make better choices for themselves. That is, until they realized their shortcoming, took ownership, and changed their irresponsible ways forever. What do you think would have happened if Adam and Eve had each taken responsibility for their choices and had simply said, "Yes, I chose to eat," and left it at that? Do you think God would have responded differently if they had simply owned their choices without blaming others? Do you think he might have delightfully said, "Good. Let me show you another tree that might interest you"? For what choices you have made have you tried to outrun your accountability, and who have you blamed for your life choices? How could your life be different if you took blameless ownership of every choice that you have made and for all those that you will make into your future? How could doing this change your world for the better? The Light in the Garden. Finally, help for the Outcasts. Available on October the 19th, 2020. Now taking orders at www.coach.net/tlg.htm.